I believe will improve Hugo Ekitike'S Liverpool's upcoming run. The Reds are set to return to action following the international break by welcoming Nottingham Forest to Anfield on Saturday afternoon. It's a game that begins a series of 7 in just 21 days for Arne Slot's side across 2 competitions. Nevertheless, it's a challenge Ekitike believes he and his teammates are ready to tackle. Telling LiverpoolFC.com, "I think it's going to be a tough period with a lot of games, not easy games. The games before the internationals were obviously difficult. 2. We are going to need to stick together and really support each other because it is going to be a busy period with a lot of matches. But I am confident and I think we can do something. We have a lot of games to come back to, but it is a good place for us to be there. Football is about momentum. We started this season by winning all of our games at the end of the game, last-minute goals. Then we started to lose games. But I think we can change that. We can switch to victories again. It is just about momentum. I believe we can improve and get better." Forest will arrive on Merseyside this weekend in 19th place in the Premier League standings after 11 games. However, the appointment of Sean Dyche has produced an uptick in fortunes. With the side unbeaten in their last 3 outings, they changed the coach and now they have been good defensively. Added Ek, they have an especially good defense, so I feel like all of the games, every game in the Premier League is going to be tough. Ekitike returned to the AXA training center this week after a profitable international break, during which he scored his first senior goal for France in a qualifier against Ukraine and helped his country seal their place at the 2026 World Cup. "I feel proud. It's a good feeling, obviously," reflected Liverpool's No.22. "I was a kid dreaming, I would say. It was a really good trip with the national team, and now I am happy to come back. I got a lot of messages after my goal. Honestly, I couldn't open all of the messages, but I'd say thanks for the love." Having broken his duck for France, Ekitike is now aiming to building on the promising start he's made to his Liverpool career following his summer transfer from Eintracht Frankfurt. The 23-year-old said, "I feel I am getting better. Even though in the last month I didn't score much, I improved a few other things in my game. It's about getting better. And I think I am getting better, and I am sure it's going to work." Premier League panels split after Liverpool VAR controversy at Man City. A Premier League panel has been left split following the controversy surrounding Virgil van Dijk's disallowed goal for Liverpool against Manchester City earlier this month. Reds captain had his header chalked off during the first half of the two sides meeting at the Etihad Stadium, with Andy Robertson, adjudged to have been in goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma's line of sight from an offside position. Had the goal stood, Liverpool would have drawn level at 1-1 following Erling Haaland's opener. Instead, the Reds would go on to fall 2-0 down before halftime, and eventually went on to lose the game 3-0. The decision to disallow Van Dijk's goal has caused plenty of controversy, as replays showed that Robertson hadn't obstructed Donnarumma's view, with the left-back having also ducked under the ball on its way into the net. The Premier League's key match incidents KMI panel has now ruled that the decision to disallow the goal was correctly not overturned by VAR, although the panel was split on the decision. According to BBC Sport, the 5-person panel voted 3-2 that the on-field call made by Chris Kavanagh and his assistant Stuart Burt to rule the goal out was incorrect. However, the panel also found that the VAR team of Michael, Oliver, and Tim Wood was correct not to intervene in the incident, although that also saw a 3-2 split. The panel's decision comes after PGMOL chief Howard Webb defended the decision to disallow Van Dijk's goal, describing it as not unreasonable, despite Liverpool complaining to the referees board. The KMI panel found that the majority felt that due to Robertson not being in the line of vision of the goalkeeper at the time of the header, in his subsequent actions not clearly impacting Donnarumma's attempt to save the ball, the goal should have been awarded. But while 2 of the 5 members felt that constituted a clear and obvious error for VAR to intervene on, another judged the movement in front of the goalkeeper meant that this was not a clear and obvious error, and VAR was correct to not intervene. Leading to the split in the panel, Jurgen Klopp apologized to Sadio Mane as Man OTT. Transfer story emerges. Sadio Mane has disclosed that Jurgen Klopp said sorry to him for being unable to bring him to Borussia Dortmund before his transfer from Southampton to Liverpool. The Senegalese attacker had a distinguished 8-year spell on Merseyside after Klopp secured his signature from the Saints in 2016. But the pair appeared fated to join forces in Germany's top flight much earlier. Klopp was managing Dortmund in 2014 when he identified Mane, who was flourishing at Red Bull Salzburg, as ideal for his intense pressing system. A transfer ultimately fell through at that point, though, with Mane moving to Southampton instead. Before Klopp arrived at Liverpool the next year as Brendan Rodgers' replacement, speaking on the Rio Ferdinand Presents podcast on Thursday, Mane revealed, I met Klopp. He wanted to bring me to Dortmund, but it didn't work out. The duo reunited 2 years afterwards in the Premier League, with Klopp remaining determined to collaborate with Main. Main continued, "So, when he was in Liverpool, and I was also making my way, I go to Southampton. And that was, okay, we meet? Again," he called me. He said, "Listen, it didn't work out. It was my fault. So what do you think? We work again? Or da?" And then I go to meet Mauricio Pochettino at Tottenham. I say, "Okay, so make sure you agree with my agent, everything. I will come to Tottenham." Then I come back home. 3 days after, Klopp called me. I say, "This is my Klopp. This is the right this is what I want." I say, "I give you my word. Make sure, some clubs want me. But no, I'm coming there." And at the time, Liverpool was not even Champions League. Tottenham was playing Champions League. He also revealed that Klopp apologized for failing to bring him to Dortmund in 2014. He added, "Klopp called me. First of all, I say, 'Coach, ... Single quotes, he said, "How are you? It was my fault you didn't come to Dortmund." He goes, "You know, I wanted to come there. I met him first. I was not happy." And he apologized for this. And he said, "We will build the team no one wants to play against. And then, if we grow up together, you will play every game." Did Sadio Mane almost join Manchester United? Following his switch to Liverpool in 2016, Mane went on to score 120 goals and provide 46 assists for the Reds across 269 games in all competitions. But his career trajectory might have been entirely different had Manchester United secured his signature. Discussing why the Old Trafford move collapsed, he explained, "Manchester United called me that time. At the same time, I was talking to Louis van Gaal. When they failed to get me, they bought Anthony Martial. Because he called me, Van Gaal called me. He said, 'Mane, how are you? What are you doing? How is?' I said, 'I'm good.' He said, 'I want you to come to Manchester United.' I said, 'Really?' He said, 'Yeah.' I said, 'Okay, now I'm talking to my agent. We'll see what is the best,' because Van Gaal said, 'I know you're a good player and you can help the team. And we can help you also to become better players.' Yet, Mane revealed that the abundance of attacking options at United and Van Gaal's response to a crucial question ultimately deterred him from joining the Red Devils. Mane continued, "And then I said, okay, so my question. You have Memphis Depay, you have Wayne Rooney, you have Angel Di Maria, you have Robin van Persie? I think the same. So where am I going to play?" That was my question. Because me, I want to play. He said, "I know you're a talent, you're good. But if you do good training, good impression, you will play. But we have another player, which is also good." I was not convinced about his explanation. And a few days after, the club called me. So I was waiting with my agent and my family. I talked to the coach, but he told me that I will play if I'm good. If not, ... But at the time, I was not ready. I can say, I was young. I still needed someone to help me more. And 1 or 2 more years to become what I want to be. Because I was still in Southampton, I was not consistent. And then we said, okay, we'll see. Because maybe Tottenham. I have a meeting with Tottenham. At the same time, Pochettino called him. He said, "I want to have Sadio to come to Tottenham training ground." And then I go to Tottenham training ground 1 week after. And I see the facility. I meet the coach. I talk to him. And I was more convinced than the Man United project. Because Man U was too many. The problem was too many big players.